If you've ever dreamed about turning your creative ideas into real printed products like notebooks, journals, or even coloring books, then this video is for you. Because today I'm going to be sharing with you how I have used Amazon KDP to self-publish 3 collections of notebooks and journals, and how I'm currently using it to publish my first ever coloring book. So let's go ahead and get into it. First of all, if you're new here, hi, my name is Laura. I am a freelance illustrator and a creative mentor, and I have already used Amazon KDP to publish multiple designs of my own notebooks, planners, and journals. And today I'm going to share with you exactly how I do it, because so many of you have been asking, and also because I feel like there's just not enough creatives out there leveraging this amazing print-on-demand tool. First of all, let's actually break down what Amazon KDP is. So if you've never heard of it before, Amazon KDP stands for Kindle On Demand Publishing. It is a tool that Amazon created when they first launched the Kindle device so that authors could republish or publish their books as e-book publications that people could actually read on their Kindle devices. But since then, Amazon KDP has become so much more, and you don't actually have to be a novelist or an author writing a fiction or non-fiction book to use it. I actually use Amazon KDP to publish what's called low content books, which is basically like a notebook or a journal or a planner or some kind of a book that the buyer or the user actually fills in, and that's what defines a low content book. So basically, to summarize it, Amazon KDP is like a print-on-demand publishing service where you can design your own books and self-publish them using this tool, and Amazon handles all of the printing and shipping. What's amazing about this tool, especially as a creative who might already have a ton of ideas for creative books or low content books, is that there is no upfront cost to use Amazon KDP. So in the past, if you wanted to design your own notebook or planner, you would have to go through the process of designing it and then sourcing printers or suppliers who would actually produce this planner or notebook for you. You would then have to order in a big batch of inventory of your designs, which you would have to then house either in your studio or your office or at home if you're like me and you work from home. And then you would have to handle all of the item listing, the inventory tracking, the packaging, the shipping, all of that admin, which is not so fun if you are a creative. But now with Amazon KDP, you can just focus on the design and upload them to KDP, and Amazon handles all of the admin, all of the shipping, all of the packing, and all of the distribution for you. Everything is handled digitally online, just like a print-on-demand service for like t-shirts or merch or apparel, but this is with books, which is amazing. Another benefit to using Amazon KDP is being able to create and market and sell your own books and low content books directly on Amazon, which has a massive global reach. While KDP books aren't available in every single Amazon marketplace, they are available in a lot of Amazon marketplaces, which means that you can get your books and low content books to global audiences. If this all sounds good, then let's go ahead and find out, how do we actually do it? How do we self-publish on Amazon? How do we create low content books or coloring books or art books using this amazing tool called Amazon KDP? The first step is obviously to create an account on kdp.amazon.com. It is free to sign up, and if you already have an Amazon account, you can actually sign up to KDP using your current Amazon account. There's a couple of things that you need to do in order to get your account ready for self-publishing. You'll need to insert your tax information and your billing information and provide a bank account that KDP can actually submit your royalty payment to. Once you have all of that admin stuff set up, which actually only takes a couple of minutes, by the way, you are ready to go ahead and create your first book and self-publish it on Amazon. Now that you have your KDP account set up, you are ready to create your first ever self-published book. So the next thing that you need to do is actually choose a format for your book. KDP supports a ton of standard print sizes books commonly are printed in, but it also supports custom sizes where you can choose the size that you actually want your book to be and then just manually insert that when you are uploading it. You need to make sure to choose your formatting size first so that you can set up your design file in the correct dimensions. I personally use Adobe InDesign to create my manuscript pages, but you can also use Canva or Affinity Designer, anything that supports you creating a document with multiple pages. Once you have created all of the pages for the inside of your book, you're going to want to export and save it as a PDF because this is the file type that Amazon KDP supports for uploading. The next step is designing your cover. Even though the cover is always my favorite part to design and you might feel the urge to design and create your cover first, you should not. You need to wait until you have completed your final manuscript file because you will need not only the dimensions of your print size, but also the number of pages that are going to be in your book before you can create your cover wrap. Luckily, Amazon KDP have what they call a cover calculator to help you with this, where you can put in your print dimensions as well as the number of pages in your manuscript, and it will not only calculate the dimensions of your cover wrap for you, but it will actually give you a template that you can download and import into whatever design software you are using to create your cover design. I personally use Adobe Illustrator to create cover designs for my KDP self-published books, but you can also use Canva, Procreate, Affinity Designer, Photoshop, basically any design software that will support you importing that template that you've downloaded from the cover calculator. Now that you have all of your book files, including your final manuscript and your cover wrap design, you are ready to start creating your first ever book listing on Amazon KDP. There are 3 sections to creating a book listing on Amazon KDP. The first section is where you input all of the details for your book or your low content book, including the title, the subtitle, the description, some keyword tags, choosing what category it's going to be listed in the book section on Amazon, and also letting Amazon know whether it is a low content book or not. The second section is where you actually upload your print files, including your manuscript and your cover file. You also select your print type and cover type at this stage, so whether you want to do a paperback or hardback, whether you want a glossy finish on the cover or a matte finish, you're going to put in all of those details along with your final design files, and then Amazon KDP is going to run an initial check on your files. You can then launch the previewer to have a look at your file, and if there's anything wrong with it at this point, any like minor flaws or any places in your manuscript where your text is outside the recommend margin, it's going to flag it for you here. So the final stage of creating a book listing on Amazon KDP is setting your price and your royalty percentage. Amazon KDP actually offers a really competitive royalty for books sold. KDP is also super transparent about this and gives you full control, so you can actually set the listing price of your book and see how much you are going to make per copy of that book sold. Once you have input all of the details of your book, uploaded your files and checked them, and chose listing price for your book, you are ready to hit publish. If you are publishing a regular book, so maybe you're creating a coloring book or a book of your artwork, you can also schedule your book's release date, so you can click publish but have it scheduled to release at a date in the future. However, if you're publishing a low content book, you can't actually set your release date. You're going to go ahead and hit publish, and once your book has gone through the final review phase, then it will become available on Amazon immediately. Whether you are scheduling your release date or you're uploading a low content book, once you hit that big yellow publish button down the bottom of your listing page, your book file is going to go for final review by KDP. This can take anywhere between 48 to 72 hours, but sometimes can take more for low content books. In my experience, it also depends on the time of year that you are uploading and creating your low content books. For example, I've noticed the times that I've created collections of low content books closer to Christmas, that the review period took a little bit longer because there tends to be a higher volume of books being submitted to review at this kind of peak shopping season on Amazon. That is basically it. That is how simple and easy it is to get started on KDP and create your first self-published book. Before you get started though, I thought I would share some common mistakes that I have made when self-publishing using KDP, and also mistakes that I've seen some of my students come up against when they have been self-publishing. First one is bleed and margin settings. KDP actually has minimum margin and bleed setting guidelines. You really need to use a design tool that's going to allow you to set margins and to include a bleed in your final export file. That way KDP can properly read it and make sure that your text is within the margin lines. Another common mistake that I see is creating a file that's not set with a high enough resolution. This is going to create a whole host of problems when you get to uploading your manuscript or cover file to KDP. If you don't have your DPI set high enough, for example, for your cover file or even for your manuscript file, you're gonna have a file that's really pixelated when it gets uploaded to Amazon KDP, and it won't even pass that initial review with the previewer because it won't be high enough quality. So be sure to check the margin guidelines and the bleed guidelines. Be sure to choose your print size before you get started setting up your file, and stick with that print size when you are creating all of the pages for your internal pages in your manuscript, but also when you are creating that cover file. Speaking of cover files, another mistake that I have seen a lot of my students make is get really excited about designing the cover, which I totally get it. The cover is like the best part to design, and they will design the cover based on how many pages they think are going to be in their final manuscript, but then by the time they finish their manuscript, there's either more or less pages than what they originally thought, and so the cover file doesn't actually fit their final book. Be sure that you start with your manuscript and that you're happy with your manuscript design before you start creating your cover, so you can put in all of those print details correctly when you're calculating your cover template. If this video has sparked your curiosity about self-publishing creative book ideas with Amazon KDP, and you want to dive a little bit deeper or get a little bit more support doing it, then you might be interested in my creative self-publishing course called Published and Printed. This is an 8-week live guided course where I teach creatives how to self-publish using Amazon KDP, and I take you through everything from setting up your account to linking it with your Amazon author account to setting up your book files, your cover files, and troubleshooting all of the issues that you might have. I also show you the actual design tools that I used to create my own self-published books on Amazon KDP, and share a ton of my tips and experience in launching and marketing a book that I have self-published using Amazon KDP. If you are interested, I have left the link in the description under this video. You can go ahead and click it to find out more. If you liked this video and found it helpful, be sure to click that thumbs up button. And if you haven't done so already, you can click that subscribe button to join my cozy creative community here on YouTube. I share tons of creative tips and behind the scenes of how I run my digital creative business. So if that sounds like your cup of tea and your vibe, go ahead and click subscribe and join the community. If you are planning to self-publish on Amazon KDP this year, I would love to know what kind of book you are planning to create. So go ahead and jump down to the comments and let me know what is your dream book project that you would love to self-publish. I hope this video inspires you to get started on your own self-publishing journey. I look forward to chatting to you about all of your self-publishing book ideas in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.